So if you haven't guessed it by now, we're going in order of Friday the 13th movies, and next up is number 3. The plot is fairly simple again this time around. While the plot in the first two films were pretty much the same, so it's different to those two. This time around it focuses on a group of teenagers who are actually coming to spend a weekend in an old cabin on the lakeside, and they're not actually here to fix up a holiday camp. They're coming here so that this girl Chris can put her past behind her, or something pretty stupid like that, because 2 years prior to this film, she was here with her family and had a run-in with Jason, and managed to survive. Honestly, don't know why the hell she'd come back here, because there is no way she hasn't heard what happened to all the other people that have came to this lake. Like, you just gotta put 1 and 2 together and then realize that probably that deformed guy that tried to murder you is probably the guy that murdered all those other people and got away with it.
I was so hysterical, I don't know how I was even able to think, but I kicked the knife out of his hands and I ran.
Well, they get to the cabin, and they don't actually do much for a bit. Well, it just lets us get to know the characters and their personalities a bit. And I like this guy, Shelly. He's kind of the clown of the bunch, playing pranks on them all the time and scaring them. Then Jason goes around doing his usual gig and goes around killing everyone, and this is where Jason got his trademark hockey mask from. He actually stole it from Shelly. So Shelly is actually the first guy to be seen wearing this mask in the film series. So the film pretty much plays out the same as the last two. Jason goes around brutally murdering them all, and then there's one final survivor, and then a big chase happens. Pretty standard for a Friday the 13th movie at this point. The range of characters this time around is a bit more diverse. You've got the big goofball Shirley, and you've got 2 pretty funny stoners. A scene I like with these 2 guys is when we first get introduced to them, and all their friends think their van is on fire, but you just find out it's just those 2 guys in the back smoking a load of pot. It's pretty funny actually, and adds some comedic scenes to the Friday the 13th series. I couldn't help but notice that in this film the acting was way more cheesy than the other 2. Yeah, I know the other 2 had some pretty cheesy moments, but this one had quite a lot of them. And it was mainly the Shirley character, and that's a shame because I do really like his character.
Would you be yourself if you look like this?
What is pretty cool about Shirley though is that in one scene he's being harassed by a biker gang, and then he just goes full on badass and runs their bikes over.
What are you doing?
You went too far this time.
So the bikers want revenge, so instead of just beating them up, they plan on stealing all the gas out of their van and burning down their barn. I just couldn't help but think when I saw this, I bet you someone's going to try and escape later in the van and there's going to be no fuel. Well, guess what? It does happen. The killings in this one are definitely really cool. There's even one that's similar to how Kevin Bacon died in the first movie. But this scene has to be my favourite death scene. Just damn, that's gotta hurt. So what I find that's actually pretty ironic is that Shirley has been pranking them this whole movie, pretending to be killed and pretending to be injured and stuff like that. And just like the gas siphoning part, I knew there was going to be a scene where he's going to die and no one's going to believe him. And what do you know? It happens. It kind of reminds me of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. So I'm not actually sure what it is about Jason, but in this film and the last film, he gets his ass beat a lot by the final survivor. I'm not even sure how he kills this many people without anyone noticing, and then just can't kill the last person for the life of him. It's pretty stupid, and something else that I found was pretty stupid is that this film is supposed to carry on straight from where the second one ended. And at the end of the second one, he got a machete straight into his shoulder, and you don't see any blood or any marks of that, and I just find that pretty stupid. The kill that was the same as the Kevin Bacon kill from the first film isn't the only thing that's similar to the first movie. At the end of the first movie, the girl gets on the boat and goes out into the lake, and the same happens in this movie. And then in the first one, Jason jumps out and grabs the girl, and then in this one, Jason's mother jumps out and grabs the girl, and her head's still attached to her neck, even though she got it decapitated in the first film. I guess she was just hallucinating or some crap like that, but holy crap, this scene scared the crap out of me. Now I thought that would have made a pretty cool ending, but nope. Just like the first 2 films, they carry it on showing the girl being safe in the hands of the law. But seriously, come on, why do they do it for a 3rd bloody time? You know what, from this point on I'm just going to expect that from the later films. The movie was fun to watch, even though by this point in the series you know what to expect, and it does deliver what you expect, but the film itself was pretty good and I really did enjoy it, so I do recommend it to any good slasher fan.